Well, hello and welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Today is October 31st, and a very happy Halloween to everybody. You know, it's just such an exciting time right now. Exciting things are happening everywhere, everything that we have to do with, WFG, WealthWave, Virtual Financial, and of course, Team Prosperity. So, welcome everybody to our Team Prosperity meeting. Really excited to be here with everybody. I know how valuable your time is, so I appreciate everybody being on the call, as well as the people taking the time to listen to the recording. Like I was saying, very exciting things happening. I'm sure you all got the email last week from WFG with all the new Q3 qualifiers for the $8,000 and the $16,000 bonuses, all the new ring and watch earners for, multi-millions going down to about $250,000 a year. A lot of exciting stuff happening every single month. New people are qualifying. They're also integrating their Salesforce to integrate with iGo for all the carriers. So we'll be able to track and write business for all the carriers from one spot, which is going to be really exciting. Also, the WealthWave merger. If you missed the company meeting yesterday, there was a lot of great stuff that was covered on the company meeting yesterday. And then on the next company meeting on Saturday, our Mike is going to be the guest speaker, so that's going to be another really good one. As you all know, exciting things happening with the WealthWave merger, as well as the WealthWave Las Vegas convention that's coming up at the end of January, and hope to see everybody there. And as you know, there's some great things going on within our team as well. So we're always really excited, to talk about those, and can't wait for Mike's training. I know he's put together some great stuff. Another announcement is, from last week, we decided not to put in any more memes, which has really helped this week get more content and more information out there, which is wonderful. So, keep not posting memes, just posting content. I think that's great. And just a quick reminder that our Team Prosperity group is a closed private group, meaning if you all are inviting people into the group and they haven't actually joined yet, they're not going to be approved. So that goes for everybody. It's special to be here with us. So thanks for being here. And those are really the only announcements that I have. I'm really excited to bring up Mike and see what he's got going on. So bear with me just for a second. Let me grab him.
All right, everybody. Happy Halloween to you guys. Hope everybody's doing well. This is the last week, you guys, that we're going to go over just general information. Starting next Wednesday, we're going to go back into something that we covered during the summer months, which is a continuation of social media. Social media is a big part of what we do. It's not going to happen for you overnight. It's going to take a little learning, testing, getting feedback from your side over a period of months before you really start to learn how to extract value. My job is to help you speed up that process and try to extract value quicker. So we're going to go through some social media for a number of weeks. So that starts next Wednesday. But today I've got some information for you guys, a little bit of headhunting, a little bit of recruiting information, as well as a little bit of client-based information as well. So remember, when you're out there, freedom is really what our message to the general public is. Financial freedom, lifestyle freedom, time freedom. These are the things that people are looking for. They're willing to work for it. It's got an incredible business opportunity. Last week I went through a webinar. It was hosted by a couple of people who've interviewed or interacted with 150,000 agents over a period of the last number of years. It was a general overview webinar, but I was able to grab some screenshots. And once again, guys, stuff like LightShot that allows you to grab these screenshots, whether it's a picture you want, information you want, or really whatever you want to capture at that moment. It's a great tool to have. I use it on a daily basis. And just full disclosure, next few slides are screenshots from that presentation, so they're not my slides. The producer recruitment funnel. It's really got three areas. You've got the top of the funnel, you got the middle of the funnel, you got the bottom of the funnel. So at the top of the funnel, these are activities and processes that generate prospective producers. Now, remember, they're talking in terms of specific industry producers. We do hire non-licensed people, but the overview here still sticks. So the top of the funnel, activities that, get you, leads. The middle of the funnel is going to get you to a point that you have activities and systems that convert leads into the contracts, into new business partners if they're qualified. And the bottom of the funnel, which is the hardest part, is getting those new business partners, here they're labeled as producers, activated, writing, retained, and that's really where a lot of the industry struggles. So we've got some things going on in the back of, the back end from our side that we're trying to do to help you guys get off to faster, quicker starts, write more business, retain more people, and really it's going to be a catalyst for a lot of different areas of growth for your business. But this is the funnel. You want to be mindful of the different processes inside that funnel, and this is really what you're trying to do. You're trying to take high-quality traffic that you've generated, use a systematic follow-up to take attracting new producers or business partners, converting them into contracting, into business partners, and then getting them activated, writing business, retained, happy, and that's really going to fuel growth. So in the first part is profile and targeting. Who's my audience? What's my message? Leads to the traffic generation. Without traffic generation, without lead creation, the rest of this makes no sense. You've got to have a nice pipeline of leads coming in. Recruiter conversations, contracting. This is the whole process of what we call, our tier 1, tier 2, inside the circle. And then this is really where a lot of the industry fails. Case submission, delivery, retention, get your business partners writing, making money. They're going to stick if that happens. So what are the pitfalls in this? Where do people find the most problems? Well, you can see on attracting new producers or business partners, the wrong type of person. And, if you're constantly attracting the wrong type of people, this work becomes very burdensome. And all of a sudden, you don't feel like talking to the people. Whereas if you targeted the right people, had the right conversations, it's actually an uplifting experience. And bad lead quality. So once again, we hire non-licensed people, but if people are retired and not really hungry for success, if they're not qualified in one or more various ways, and they don't understand our vision, if they don't really have a background that shows they would be successful at a company like this, if they don't have the motivation to get it done, those are bad leads. And then coming over to the secondary area, lost leads and staff time. This is not connecting with all incoming leads. This is an important part of what we do. You have to connect with people. Stop following up so much with the unqualified leads. Push people to watch videos so you can resolve the lead. And then not following up when they weren't ready to take action. This is not going to be a business opportunity that's at the right time and the right place for every person that you meet. If they're qualified and you have interest in working with them, follow up. 6 months later, 7 months later, it might be the right time. So you never just want to take somebody that says, I love this, but it's just not the right time for me, and completely dump that lead. Pepper them with a few emails, 4 or 5 emails a year. A lot of the growth for your business is going to take place from those people coming back around. It's the right time now. And then only closing that low-hanging fruit. If you do that, you're going to have some growth, but it's not going to be the kind of growth that's going to get you to the point where you want to go. And then finally, this is where a lot of the holes happen for a lot of companies in the industry. Lost producers relationships. They never write business. They don't get consistent production, and they lose people to competition. Remember, this is an industry where people job hop a lot. You give them ownership into a platform, something they can hold on to that's going to create passive income. They're going to stick around. To get them to that point, we've also got to have them writing business, making money on the front end to keep the interest there. And this is really the challenges of a distribution channel. Can you find producers easily? Well, out of everybody they talk to, 65% say yeah, they can find the people they're looking for. 35% say no. Now going to the middle part, can you contract producers easily? It's almost split, 50-50 yes and no. We have, people passing the test. We have them getting licensed and appointed. Those are good numbers for our organization. Now this final graph is really, you can see it's almost an inverse to the beginning. Easy to find people, but then it kind of inverses itself in terms of, can you activate producers easily, get them up off the ground, writing business? And you can see it's overwhelming no by 63% compared to the yes 37%. We're looking to plug those holes. We're doing some things, like I said, that will hopefully give new partners an opportunity where we can, shake those numbers up on a favorable position for our business. And so this is really a telltale sign of what goes on in the open marketplace. You've ever wondered what everybody else is doing? Well, guess what? They're not doing very much. You can see only 20% of sales occur between the first and the sixth conversation. So there's going to be follow-up in terms of recruiting solid people, in terms of closing business deals. And look at what our competition's doing. 16% of recruiters follow up on the leads. 84% of recruiters out there don't bother to follow up with leads. Following up with leads in a systematic, organized way that resolves those leads is going to separate the high earners from the low earners. And then only 11% of these people have a systematic approach to follow up. Once again, you don't want to have to be thinking about what to do next. If you have a systematic follow-up that resolves these leads, you've got something that you can repeat and just go forward and find the ones that you're looking for. You can see this. I mean, the more follow-up you have, the more chances you have to build an organization, to close client deals. Now, once again, one little asterisk to this whole presentation is the fact that if somebody's watched both our videos, we're not going to continue to follow up with them. Our system dictates that if they've watched both videos from a business partner relationship, then we're going to resolve that lead in one of a couple ways. We're going to dump it because they don't understand what we're doing. They not interested, can't do it, can't get a license, whatever the variable reason is, or we're going to send it over for a Tier 1 ABC. But up until that point, getting them to watch the videos, this is what your competition's doing as far as upfront recruiting. These are the holes. If you can separate yourself from the crowd, guess what? Your income starts to separate you from the crowd as well. And then this is something that was very interesting that I took away from the webinar. You have to look at people not as a lost person if we're not able to get them to a point they're successful, but as lost revenue for your organization. So what is a life producer? What's an average? What's some average override commissions? What's a 36-month loss on that person? Well, it's going to be, in our business could be a lot more than this, but these are just average things to look at. So when you're losing a person because we can't get them through that entire process where they're activated, they're writing business, they're happy, yes, it's a lost business partner. Yes, it's lost time investment from our side. But for you and your organization, it's also a monetary loss. Start thinking of things in terms of numbers of how to get people to where they want to go, which is going to get you to where you want to go. And really, getting quality traffic into your funnel is very important. Once again, we always talk about this. You have to know what you're looking for. If you don't know what you're looking for, you're going to get a lot of people that you don't want. They're going to waste your time. So know what you're looking for and know how to ask for it in the open marketplace. Don't be shy about what you're looking for. Some people, are not going to be happy with the direct approach that you have, the fact that you're only looking for a certain type of person. It hurts people's feelings when the W-2 or the salary people get put down on LinkedIn. I see it every day. There's arguments coming up from both sides of the fence. Not everybody's going to love your posts. Not everybody's going to love your ads. You don't need everybody to love your ads and posts. You just need the right people. And that's really where you're going to get the top of the funnel, getting organized, quality, lead generation, a lead funnel that will create the conversations that you're looking for. And this really, everything should be systematic. I'm a big believer in systems. I'm a big believer in the prospect communication schedule that we made. So if appointments and no-shows, there should be a systematic follow-up. You should have, an organized approach to how you're going to reach these leads, communicate with these leads. The whole idea when they come in, going through the circle, getting them trained, getting them supported, getting them a license, getting them contracted. We fixed that. There's no person that's going to come in now that doesn't go through that circle of success. So we fixed that part. But then as your people come in, as they start to have business written, this is a very important part that I took away from the webinar. Follow up with them. How was the process? How was the case submission? Get some get some feedback from your producers, from your agents, from your managers. for your consultants. People want to have their voice heard. Feels like that you care from your side, which we definitely care. And then, you know, we've got a great quote-unquote referral program in terms of being able to go out there, talk to other people about this platform, about the ability to build ownership and go out there. So a lot of things, if you create an organized, systematic approach to it, this is very easy to fly through the numbers, find what you're looking for. Moving on from that webinar, you know, one of the things you guys need to do is test your landing pages. If you're using pages out there, number one, when you put in a test, you know, test@test.com, all fives for the phone number, on the back side of that landing page, it should make sense. Wherever you go, it should be A, where you want the prospect to go, B, it should make sense where they're going, and you're just kind of connecting the dots. Now, also, you want to make sure that you are getting, if it's coming from a landing page, if the lead's automatically going to go in the CRM, and you should get an email as well as a text. If you're not getting like a text alert, then your back end is not hooked up correctly. You need to let your manager know. Always test your things before you put them out. Worst thing that you can do as a quote-unquote innovative tech company is have things out there that do not work. That's a bad sign for the open marketplace. So test your pages. Let us know if you have any issues. And then, especially in the beginning, a lot of people, it's hard if you've never been on the phone before because you have those, you know, areas of silence, and those are awkward. So a lot of people, what they do in the beginning, if there's an awkward silence, they end the conversation. That's a big mistake. So easiest way to transition through a phone call if you get stuck is just to ask questions. That's the easiest way that you're going to get through a phone conversation and get the information you're looking for, because A, you're showing interest in them, which everybody wants to talk about themselves, but B, all the information that you're looking for, if you just ask the proper questions, you're going to get that information. All you've got to do is sit back, take some notes, and now you've got a way to organize this communication and conversation. These are some examples. You know, as you go through, you should have some questions that, you know, that you can ask if you get stuck. Are you currently working from home? You know, what do you do for a living? You know, why are you looking at, you know, this type of business opportunity, virtual business? Has something recently changed in your life where you're open to doing this? Once again, this is going to divulge a lot of information. Have you ever been self-employed or owned a business before? What type of level of income are you accustomed to? If you had a magic wand, what does your dream lifestyle look like? What kind of income are you looking to generate in the next 12 months? Do you have money set aside to start a new business? How serious are you about starting a business? Tell me why. These kinds of questions will allow you not to have to throw up on the person, dump truck on the person, but actually, like I said, show interest in them and get the information you're looking for to make a decision. Is this a good fit? Do I want to put investment behind this person and bring them in? I was never a recruiter before I came in here and never recruited anything or anyone for any type of organization. If you come in like I did with no experience, then what you want to take into consideration is there's some things that you can do to jumpstart your ability to become a better recruiter or hire a headhunter, whatever you want to call it. First thing you want to do is be in the mindset. It's not what I can do, not what you can do. We are essentially a talent scout at this point. The giants of this company are still coming in. Over the next 2 or 3 years, they will. You get richly rewarded. You can find them, bring them into our community. Our team has excellent training, support, resources. We go over and beyond to try to help the people that are willing to help themselves. Once again, in this consolidation, in this early part of the build-out, you're a talent scout. Find the giants, bring them in, let them build multiple legs of distribution across this country. And for you being able to find them and us being able to train and support them, you get a piece of that business for life, which is really nice. Also, to be a good recruiter with no experience, you have to learn very quickly what is the difference between a qualified and an unqualified job candidate. Now, in the beginning, yes, you do get at least some credit. If somebody comes in, it's a total failure, it does count towards one of your people coming into your business. But once you get up to those numbers, you don't need to bring people in to bring them in. You know, you want to analyze. You want to look at people. Am I willing to put an investment behind this person? If they're qualified, yes. But if they're unqualified, once again, it doesn't make any real advantage to bringing somebody in. To get a plaque or a medal to say that you're a top recruiter, I would much rather have less recruits but more qualified recruits. Also, when you're talking to people, feel them out. Is this something that they're really willing to work for? And that's the difference between a true entrepreneur or what we call a wantrepreneur. Everybody wants the end result. Our job is to figure out, do they have the vision, the motivation, do they have the execution skills to see this out and become successful? To get really where we want to go, it's going to take a different psychology that many people have. Once you get into your mindset, it's easy to start identifying, this person thinks like me. I want to talk to this person. This person's the opposite of the way I think. Don't want to bring them into my organization. Another thing that you can do to become a better recruiter off the start is learn about one of the key concepts that we have and we talk about with this business model, the cash flow quadrant. Where do you want to be? If you want to be an employee, fine, best of luck. If you want to be self-employed and basically own a job, best of luck. We're looking for people who want to become solid business owners in a very large industry with a virtual model with basically no fixed and variable costs that fuels passive income that will further fuel investment. You can see all of that fuel is going on the right-hand side of the cash flow quadrant, which is really where we want your mindset to be and your partner's mindset to be coming in, working smart, not having to work that hard. And that goes into our next point. We bring this up all the time. Do they understand the difference between linear and leveraged income? If they do, they should understand a business model like this and the many advantages that come along with it. If they don't, then you can see that we or you and your organization with a number of people working part-time hours can accomplish in 1 year what the average person could accomplish in linear income in terms of hours in an entire lifetime. So building a team, building an organization, working together, that's really where you're going to provide the leverage that's going to get you to the income status and the standard of living that you're looking for. People don't understand that, not a good partner to bring in. And this is basically what that looks like in a kind of a pictorial view. A book of business is something you do, you go out, you fully write. A business has many different interchangeable parts to it, business partners that are working independently of you, some with your help. That's going to get you to the point where you don't have to go out there. Everything's not on your shoulders. It's a big difference. If people don't understand this, they're not going to make a good business partner in this business. And remember, if somebody's in the industry, out of the industry, it doesn't matter. A business can be revolutionary or a business can be like everything else. As a recruiter early on, if you understand this concept, it will help you. Revolutionary means that you innovate, you stand alone, you have a new model, you have kind of the pick of who you want to talk to and bring into this new model. Like everything else means you have to compete. If you've ever been in this industry or another industry where you're constantly just buying leads, converting those to sales, fighting with everybody else, it is a very, very, very tough environment to be in. And once again, that goes back to working hard versus working smart. And this is really what we want people to understand, the importance of the cash flow quadrant, how much the impact of digital disruption has put into our lives, understanding how a disruptive model like this in this size industry creates a very big opportunity, understanding distribution over sales, understanding the freedoms associated with a virtual lifestyle, understand the advantage of having a system to plug in to build that distribution, understanding what a deal it is to access this business and this platform for these low startup costs. And then to understand and appreciate what a staggering number this platform pays out now and expected to pay out over the coming months and years. Then understand what it means from a cash flow perspective to have something in place that allows you for exponential growth with little to no fixed and variable cost, and then understanding what financial and lifestyle freedom really means, how to attain that, and then finally, understanding what happens to market share in these transformations. Market share goes from a traditional model to a digital model. When you hit that inflection point, it happens in a big way. All of these things are about your mindset. Grasp onto these. It's easier to start asking for what you want. And this is basically the breakdown. Digital disruption mixed with distribution, mixed with a product revolution cycle that's going on. Savvy entrepreneurs know how to build distribution. Savvy entrepreneurs are always looking for opportunity. It doesn't matter what they have going on in their lives. They've got something that they know is going to be big. They want to be part of it. That's who you're looking for. And this is essentially what that looks like. You're taking a very old, huge profitable industry, but very, very stale industry, and you're overhauling that with a digital model that allows us to take market share and premium from the traditional model and have that come back to Virtual Financial. New way of business, new way of doing business, creates a lot of advantages. And once again, it's not a situation like in retail, we're going to mark down the end item and the savings goes to the entrepreneur. We're never going to have a sale on life insurance. But what that happens is the savings, the cost cutting from the digital model now all flows back to the entrepreneur. So we get the advantage of having the ability to build nationwide distribution with no additional capital, no additional infrastructure, and really the only point of resistance for scalability, like we talk about, is the ability to bring in, acquire, and hire top talent. Remember, follow-up is going to make the difference whether you're a consultant, manager, inviter. It's going to make the difference between having a successful business and a mediocre or failing business. It increases the conversion of your resolved leads. Remember, resolved lead because you've actually resolved it versus dumping a lead because of non-communication. Very, very different. Effective follow-up is an absolute must. You're going to fail without. Follow-up is the make or break for your business. So are you willing to follow up with people? If you are, you've got a very good shot at being successful in this business. If you're not willing to follow up, you're going to struggle. And remember, your worst phone call ever, especially in the beginning, will take over no phone call at all. If you're having those terrible phone calls in the beginning, tripping yourself up, or tripping over yourself, kind of getting those rocks out of your mouth, so to speak, that's great because that's going to lead into solid conversations in the very near future. If you're reluctant to pick up that phone, it's going to feel heavier and heavier and heavier, and all of a sudden the days go by, the weeks go by, and even months go by. You're not making the necessary phone calls. If you get into the habit, just like anything else in your life, good or bad, it's going to continue. Get in the habit of making these phone calls. It becomes very easy, and you become more confident in everything that goes along with this business. Doesn't matter, clients or partners. I know we're talking about recruiting or headhunting, but doesn't really matter what you're talking about here. If you leave it up to other people, nothing will happen. You have to be the aggressive person. You're not running a scam. You're not ripping people off. You don't have terrible products here. People need what we have to offer, whether it's a business opportunity, whether it's protection, asset accumulation. But if you leave it up to them, nothing will happen. People love to procrastinate. People love to forget about things. People love to kick the can down the road. The only way that you're going to find success is by being the aggressive one, putting people into the products they need, putting business partners into a position where we make a determining factor. Is this a good fit or not? But just sending out emails, sending out LinkedIn messages, and waiting for the other side to contact you back, it's a recipe for disaster. And one of the things that you'll find out very early as a recruiter, as a consultant, as a manager, is that weekend appointments as well as Monday appointments, they especially need to be confirmed because there's a huge fallout on weekend or Monday appointments. People get into a different mindset on both the weekends and Mondays. So confirm those appointments. This will help your show percentages, which will help you resolve leads, which will help you get what you're looking for. And don't forget, track your email. We have a free tracker that we showed you guys that we use. It's a great feeling to know when I send an email off to a client, a new business partner, I get an email back, a notification, your email was opened up 30 seconds, 2 minutes, 5 minutes later. That shows me they received it, wasn't lost in cyberspace. I can go on to the next part of the resolution process. If you get a notification back, your email was just open 2 weeks after it was sent, problematic. That person's not really on their game in terms of effective time management or really caring enough as a business partner about what we're doing here. And don't forget, once you know what activity you have, what activity or what results that activity produces, becomes very, very, very easy to scale this business. Until that point, it's a guessing game. In order to know how effectively increase or scale production, you first have to know what you do and how you get there. So if we want to say, I want to increase my business by 25% this year, we need to see down to the hour. What would I need to do to increase my overall output, for the year, trace back down to the hour? If you break things into small compartmental units, it's much easier to get where you're going. And then don't forget, when you're out there, especially the warm market, yes, we've got a script. Are you open to looking at a solid business project? But for your warm market, you want to let them know, hey, this may or may not be for you. So, that lets them know it's okay if you're not interested. People are genuinely probably interested in what you're doing, but they don't want to be hard sold. They don't want to be pressured. They don't want you to be upset if they tell you no. So it may or may not be for you. Would you be open to taking a look at what we're doing if the money was right? If I sent you 2 videos, would you look at them? You're just trying to get those videos out. So the warm market may require a little bit more massaging, but it's important that you go after the warm market to, first of all, cover yourself, because when you get successful, the warm market's going to want to know, why didn't you offer this to me? I did. On the other hand, on the product side, we all see the statistics out there. We offer the business to our warm market, but we really push the products because they can save people from financial ruin. And then don't forget, this is not something that you need to really do in the beginning, because we just want you to master what you need to do. But as you get better at what you do and feeling more comfortable, our videos are embedded with that information about living benefits, tax-free retirement. Somebody's not interested in the business, try to flip it to a client conversation. Once again, don't get overwhelmed in the beginning and try to do this, but as you get more mature, seasoned in what you do and you're feeling more comfortable, doesn't hurt to try to ask. Probably a lot of no's. Some of those could be yeses. Some of those yeses could turn into upgrades, new insurance sales, maybe even bigger retirement sales as well. One of the things that we do to help the public is, go into the upgrade market. And then the good management. Remember, everything that we do as a manager, especially in the beginning, is crucial. You've got to handhold these people. You've got to be in communication. You've got to make sure notes are coming through. If you're listed as a manager, there's no notes coming through, means no work is being done. You've got to give these people a little bit of push, a positive push. We come from a management position of trying to be inspirational. This isn't a corporate thing where we're ruling with an iron fist, so to speak. Work with these people. Like I said, the first 2 months is crucial. It's going to be a make or break time for a lot of these people. Manager can help that, push them through the system to get them the results. Trust me, if you give them a little push, they start making money, they start getting traction, they're going to be very happy that they got that little push. Everybody needs a push. And as you're out there as a recruiter, remember, all of this digital environment, it creates huge opportunity if you know how to use it well. People don't buy goods and services. They buy relation stories and magic. You have to separate yourself. You have to be interesting. You have to go out on a limb sometimes and be creative in what you're doing out there. It might feel uncomfortable at first. It's okay. Put yourself out there. Once again, if everyone likes your message, probably not the greatest message in the world to post. Now, I understand that may seem odd, but you want to get out there. You want to challenge the status quo. You want to challenge the mindset of the general public, because fixed income, salaries, W-2 is going to get slaughtered in the upcoming economies because, everything, especially when inflation creeps in. If you're making $100,000 and over the last 3 years you've gotten 0 raise, guess what? That purchasing power is being eaten away at. The only way to survive in the upcoming economies is for the people to know how to produce cash flow, produce passive income. And now with our help, this platform, the amount of people that we have to help them, they've got an opportunity to do this on a very part-time basis coming in. You've got to stand out. If there's a whole bunch of black umbrellas out there, you've got to be the red umbrella. And that's just, with everything. Headlines, messages. If you're writing headlines on emails, headlines on articles, they have to stand out. That's half the battle. You have a very small window of time to get somebody else to click on what you post. So if half the battle is the headline, don't just, throw a random headline out there. Get good at writing headlines that entice the other people to click through. And remember, our business model is completely different. We're bringing a digital model to this, but remember, the client really hasn't changed. The client's got the same problems. The client's got the same issues. The client's got the same kind of goals that they want in their life. And that's really coming to a point where we talk about what we do. Our method consists really of building basic foundations that include protection and asset accumulation. Yes, we have debt management, emergency fund, cash flow analysis, all of these things, but that really leads us up to where we can talk about proper protection and asset accumulation. That's our 1-2 combination punch as a financial advisor. And this is, what it looks like. We're building a basic foundation, and the foundation has to be in place. If not, this is what happens. Eventually, the financial house comes crashing down. If you didn't have the proper protection and you skip that to go to asset accumulation, guess what? You're attacking that 401k, that IRA, way before you need to. Penalties, fees, taxes all come in to play. So if you just would have taken the time to build a proper financial foundation, this wouldn't have happened to you. And this is really where you want the balancing act to go: protection and accumulation. Accumulation without protection is a house of cards. Remember that. So what are the possibilities as you're out there speaking to potential clients? Well, you've got 3 different things that could possibly happen. You've got a situation where you have a premature death. You could die young. If that's the case, well, guess what? People need life insurance in place to provide for their family. You don't want to leave the people that count on you on a daily basis in a destitute situation because you didn't take a little time and money to put something in place that would give them a standard of living protection if there was a premature death. Now, more along the lines of what we see in today's society is we're living through those things that typically killed previous generations, but, we get sick or we get hurt. We get the chronic stuff happening. And that's where we need living benefits to help provide money for household expenses and medical bills. Even if you have an emergency fund set up, it's going to go through very quickly. You're going to be in the same position. You're attacking credit cards, whatever type of credit that you have until that's maxed out. It's like a snowball. It builds on you, and then all of a sudden it just runs you over. Living benefits provide a bridge of capital to give people a fighting chance during these particular periods of their life. And the last thing that we can have happen, we all hope we're going to live that nice, long, healthy life. Well, if life expectancy is, getting up, into the 80s, well, then you have to take a look and you have to make sure that you have something in place that's going to cover the retirement years. Remember, the retirement years aren't that golden if you have a substandard of living. If you're having to pick prescriptions over medication or prescriptions over foods, going back into the workforce. Remember, guys, an average 401k at retirement has about $400,000, and because those people have deferred their taxes and because they're using that as an asset base they're going to deplete off of for living expenses, it usually lasts the average retiree 48 months or less, 4 years or less. Same thing in an IUL could be stretched out over many more years to return much more because of the tax advantages of the policy loans and the leverage from your cash value continuing to grow. Learn how to talk to people, educate people. The financial literacy of this country is very low. They're looking for help. You can be that person that knows what they're talking about. You can have a lot of business. So what's the problem here? Well, the problem is that we've got to take into consideration a few things that happen. Time. How long is this going to take? Well, if you wait to start, you might not ever get there. So no matter where they're at, 30, 40, 50, they need to start saving immediately. Also, taxes. This is going to be a big determining factor, a variable factor, and their standard of living. The tax environment and the tax status are big factors. That's why some of our products give you, non-taxable events to take out money through policy loans. It's a big deal if you know how to organize these policies correctly. And then finally, the market risk. And that's something that's in today's news. The market's been all over the place for about the past number of weeks. Market volatility is creeping back in. Once again, if you know what you're talking about, know how to use the daily news to your advantage, when you're out there posting, talking to people, they're going to ask you questions. Those questions can be turned into potential clients, and who knows where that conversation could go. So the impact of market losses in terms of time and percentages. Once again, if you look at the last 25 years of the market goes up, market tanks. A lot of those retail investors, that hole that they're in, it takes many months, even years to climb back out of that. They climb back out, they make a little money, it's another hole. It's a continuous cycle. We want to break that cycle and put them into a mindset where they make buying decisions where now they've got an end point they're trying to get to, and they've got vehicles that have a roadmap. We're not just blindly throwing money at a vehicle with a hope and a pray mentality. Doesn't work. Retirement. So, how long is it going to take me to get there? There's some great calculators at money.cnn.com. There's retirement mortgage. There's a lot of calculators that the consultants can use to help out the clients when you're dealing with Tier 5s, F&A reports, or other type of client material. And then taxes. So if you look at the debt clock, if you look at the future taxation environment, what it probably looks like, taxes are going to have to be dramatically higher. If people understand that, then things like 401ks, traditional IRAs, maybe not the best place to be in. Look what's happening here. Just the interest on the debt, that would be like your interest on your credit card payment. Look at what happens here in the coming years. It explodes higher. You've got the interest cost on the U.S. debt. To put this in perspective, the U.S. national debt will surpass defense spending by 2024. The cost of net interest on the U.S. debt will surpass $800 billion by 2026. Where is this money going to come from? They're going to have to attack the taxation environment. We divide our clients in two camps, the prepared and the unprepared. The heaviest of that tax burden falls to the unprepared. It's very important people understand the environment that we're going into. This money has to come from somewhere. It's going to come from the taxpayer's pocket. And you can see right here, the interest on the debt right here in the middle at 13.2 cents out of the dollar in 2016. As that rises and takes up more of the dollar, well, all of a sudden, just like our expense pie charts in the F&A presentation, something's got to give. And so, a lot of this will come from having to have reduced spending on programs as well as higher taxes. That's meaningful. Know how to articulate that to the open marketplace. And then finally, market risk. I mean, when you look at this, we talk about the continuous cycle of losing money, losing money, and then over a 25, 30-year period of time, really not a whole heck of a lot of growth there. Factor in the loss of purchasing power with inflation, and all of a sudden you really haven't gotten to your goals. So what we want to look at the market as, when the market over the past decade has been poured in with stimulus from very different directions, where direct monetary stimulus, bond buybacks, ultra-low interest rate environment, when that punch bowl, so to speak, is taken away, market's only going to expand so much before it snaps back. There has to be a consolidation period. We're close to that right now. Somebody's close to retirement. We need to talk to them about what's the best option here to protect them from the upcoming correction, bear market that we'll see probably over the next 24 to 36 months. Know how to talk about market volatility, know how to talk about the news, know how to influence your audience. Once again, most people have no idea in terms of financial literacy about even basic concepts. You can assert yourself as somebody who they can come to, ask for advice. It's going to turn into sales. It's going to turn into clients, and it's going to turn into referrals. And remember, if you're in a vehicle that has, for example, like the IUL with a floor, you're not going to lose money. But more importantly, for example, like in the beginning of this century, 2000, 2001, 2002, those were back-to-back market down years. But even in a long-term decline, you still have what we call dead cat bounces, where the market volatility spikes because we get in an oversold position. If you're not losing money and you can take or participate in some of those bounces, it's not going to be 0.75, the floor. You have an opportunity to make more in certain periods of time, because even in a downward bear market or correction, there's going to be some upticks at certain points. That's important. So we're shielded from the losses, participating in most of the market upside, even in an onward going down bear market or correction. This is a time that you guys, if you're new, if you've been here for a while, it's really a time to reflect. We're going into the end part of the year. Those people who are on the 12-week year who've continued and still on, you congratulate yourself. Give yourself a pat on the back. It's not easy to stick with a program that doesn't, put your activity in such a favorable light all the time. It's hard to take self-inventory. It's hard to say, hey, I'm doing this terribly. I've got to improve. But the people who have actually stuck with it, it's your first time around, it's a learning experience. The next time around, you're going to get better. If you can combine a business system like what we have with a systematic approach to daily activity like the 12-week year, it's a home run or even a grand slam. So look at what you've done, look at what you need to do, reflect, and get positive in your mindset about what's about to happen for you. A lot of lottery talk lately, big jackpots lately. I just wanted to bring up that, yes, you're going to build your organization. It's going to build however it builds. People are going to come in, they're going to do nothing. Some will do some things. Some will be superstars. But if you are under the understanding of how to build a business around Fast Track, it's very easy. It's 1-3-3-5. You're going to complete phase 1 to the headhunter who brought you in. Monetizes the efforts of them without us having to come out of pocket directly for any money. It's very big. We don't pay appointment setters. We don't pay recruiters. It's built into the system. It's very important. They understand that. Phase 2, that's just going to be bringing in 3 partners who are able to get that Fast Track exchange done. If so, they're getting phase 1 completed. By accepting those exchanges, you're making $4 to $6 grand. You're getting phase 2 completed. It's a vice president contract. Now you're going to go out and grow your team by 3 more Fast Tracks. You could have 10, 12, 15, maybe 20 people in your organization. I don't know. This is based on Fast Track. So you're going to give 1 Fast Track away, accept 3 to come in for your phase 2, grow your team by 3 more Fast Tracks. So it's you, 6 people behind you that have done the Fast Track. Then all you've got to do to get to SVP is help 5 of those 6 complete phase 2 like you did. It's a very easy system to latch onto, comprehend, and be able to organize your efforts around getting this done. And remember, guys, if you create passive income of $100,000, it's the equivalent of having $2.5 to $3 million in the bank. So if you have lots of capital to go out there and earn interest, it's easy to create that investment income. If you don't have $2, $3, $5, $10 million in the bank, it's a great way to create some passive income that's equal to that, having that lump sum in the bank earning X%. Passive income is the future of this economy, the future to getting you the standard of living that you want, enjoying your life, and putting you in a position which I feel very strongly about, giving back to the causes that you're passionate about, sending the elevator back down, taking care of some people that didn't have the same opportunities in life that you did. So I think that we are finished a little bit early today, which is no problem at all. Guys, if you have any questions now, Lon's going to open up the floor. If you need any help, let us know. But remember, next week we get back on social media, so you guys make sure that your partners are either live or on the recording, because we're going to go in deep conversation about that.
Thank you so much, Mike. Another great training, and really looking forward to seeing the presentation on Saturday for the company. We'll go ahead and